I am a medical miracle by nature. My blood is a natural antidote that can cure various poisons. When Miriam Wiley, the unmaterialistic heiress of the upper crust, gets bitten by a venomous snake, her life goes into countdown. At the critical juncture, I slit my wrist and bled in order to help her cure the poison. After saving Miriam's life, I found out that whoever saved her would become the future son-in-law of the Wiley family. But the first thing Miriam did after inheriting her family fortune was to drain me of my blood. Then, she chopped me up and fed me to the dogs. Back then, Cedric was already rushing to me with a special drug. If I could wait for 5 more minutes, I'd be able to marry him. You just had to interfere with my plan by stealing the position of the son-in-law from him. You made him slit his wrist and take his own life out of despair. You claimed that your blood is an antidote to all the poisons in the world, right? I'd like to see how many antidotes I can actually produce from your blood. After I got my blood drained, I was tossed into a cage filled with predators. My corpse ended up being battered and broken. As for my parents, they took some poison and ended their own lives after the Wileys forced them into bankruptcy. When I open my eyes again, I've returned to the day Miriam gets poisoned. Her mother, Verna Seymour, looks at me expectantly. I heard that you are a medical miracle. Are you willing to save my daughter's life? I quickly turn her down. Those are just rumors, Mrs. Wiley. Besides, it is unsanitary to use blood as a form of antidote. You don't have to worry though. I heard that Mr. Campbell is rushing toward this place with a special drug as we speak. Surely Miss Wiley will live to see the day. I am starting to look forward to the outcome. Without my antidote, Miriam can forget about inheriting her family fortune. In fact, it'll be a miracle if she can live for an extra month. Before Miriam Wiley's mother, Verna Seymour, could conceal her look of disappointment, a heart-wrenching scream suddenly pierced the air. Everyone fell into an instant silence. No one dared utter a sound. A series of hurried footsteps sounded outside the door, and several bodyguards carried Miriam in together. Her eyes were tightly shut, and half of her arm had turned a dark purplish black. It was a sight that struck fear into all who saw it. The hall immediately descended into chaos, with many gasping in horror and stepping back several paces. Miriam's father, Fabian Wiley, wore a terrifyingly grim expression. What is the point of keeping you useless fools around? I ordered you to protect Miriam closely, so how could you let her be bitten by a poisonous snake? The bodyguards hung their heads, sweat dripping from their temples, yet not one of them dared to speak a word in response. Just then, Cedric Campbell was pushed to the front of the crowd. It wasn't their fault. Miriam said she didn't like too many people following her. A doctor rushed forward and bent down to examine Miriam's injury. She suddenly trembled violently before slowly opening her eyes. Cedric risked his own life to bring me the antidote. If it weren't for him, I'd probably be dead now. The doctor added quietly from the side. She is right. Without the unique efficacy of the antidote Mr. Campbell provided, the consequences could have been unimaginable. At the doctor's words, Fabian's expression finally softened a little as he turned his gaze towards Cedric. Our family owes you for saving Miriam's life. Tell me, what do you want? I will grant you whatever you want, as long as it is within my means. When he heard this, a flicker of light passed through Cedric's eyes. He stole a glance at Miriam, his lips parting slightly, but for a long while, no words came out. Miriam's expression darkened. Suddenly, she reached out and took his hand firmly in hers. Dad, Cedric is too embarrassed to say it, so I'll speak for him. Her voice carried a resolve never heard before. I want to marry him. I don't care what the others say. He saved my life, and I want to spend the rest of mine repaying him. The atmosphere in the hall froze abruptly. As everyone drew a sharp breath in shock, Cedric was, after all, just the son of the Wiley family's housekeeper. Though he had grown up with Miriam, his background was far from respectable. In fact, it never crossed her parents' minds to consider him as a prospective son-in-law. Fabian